I found out my husband was going to have dinner with his affair, so I reserved the table next. I stared at the glowing screen of his phone. The message was short, playful, full of promise. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, our usual spot. My heart began to pound. Our usual spot. The restaurant we had once chosen together. The one with velvet curtains and candlelit tables. The place where we celebrated anniversaries and whispered about the future. Now it belonged to him and someone else. I felt cold, as if the air itself had turned into ice. My fingers shook as I searched for the restaurant's number. The words left my mouth carefully, almost calmly. I would like to book a table, 2 seats, tomorrow at 7. And then, with a strange rush of adrenaline, I added, make it the table right next to the corner booth. The reservation was confirmed. The next day moved slowly, like hours trapped in thick syrup. Every sound in the house seemed louder. The ticking of the clock, the scrape of his shoes on the floor, the zip of his jacket as he left, humming under his breath. He looked at me once before walking out, and smiled. A familiar smile, one I now knew was a mask. When the door closed, silence settled heavy over the room. I dressed carefully, each layer chosen with precision. Not glamorous, not understated. Something in between, something sharp, something unshakable. The drive to the restaurant felt unreal. Streetlights stretched across the windshield like pale scars. My reflection stared back at me from the glass. Eyes wide, jaw clenched. Inside the restaurant, the air smelled of garlic and wine. Chandeliers glowed above like captured moons. The host led me through the maze of tables. I could hear laughter, forks against porcelain, the soft notes of a piano, and then, there he was, my husband. Sitting in the corner booth, across from her. She leaned forward, her hair shining beneath the golden light. Her hand brushed his. My lungs tightened, as if the room itself was closing in. I lowered myself into my chair at the next table, so close I could hear the sound of his laugh, so close I could see the reflection of the candle dancing in his eyes. The waitress appeared, her voice gentle. Would you like to start with a drink? My lips curved into something that was not quite a smile. Yes, red wine. The strongest you have. The stem of the glass was cool in my hand. I sipped slowly, the bitter taste clinging to my tongue. I listened. Fragments of their conversation floated over. Soft promises, secret plans, words I once believed belonged only to me. My hands pressed into my lap until my nails bit skin. The woman laughed, light and careless, as if the world itself belonged to her. And then, suddenly his eyes flicked toward me. He froze. Recognition flared, sharp and electric. The color drained from his face. The glass in his hand trembled. For a moment, the entire restaurant seemed to hush. Even the piano paused. Her laughter stopped as she followed his gaze. Her smile faltered when she saw me. I lifted my glass, meeting his eyes, a silent toast, a greeting, or perhaps a warning. Heat rushed through my veins, not fear but power. I held his stare, unblinking, until the silence became unbearable. The waitress returned, placing bread on my table. The sound of porcelain on wood shattered the stillness. I picked up a piece, tore it slowly, deliberately, and let the crumbs fall. The air was heavy, full of unspoken words. The woman shifted in her seat, discomfort written across her face. My husband leaned forward, his lips parting, searching for something to say. But I already knew there was nothing he could say. Not here, not now. I smiled again, wider this time, and then I spoke, clearly, calmly. Enjoy your dinner. The words sliced the air like glass. I set down my wine glass with a soft click. The sound echoed louder than it should have. And then I rose, chair legs scraping against the floor. Dozens of eyes followed me as I walked past their table. The velvet curtains swayed slightly as I pushed them aside. The night air was cold, sharp and clean. For the first time in a long time, I breathed deeply, and I walked into the darkness, leaving their silence behind me.